Hello and welcome to the BattleFan podcast, episode number 23. Today is March the 12th, 2020, and it looks like this is the end for the 2020 season. My name's Paul, and I'm here with Jerry on
Hello.
the phone. How you doing, Jerry?
Been better. Been worse.
Been better?
Been better. It's been a day.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I figured we just start off. I'll just read the XFL statement that came out today, and I guess we'll go from there, all right?
Sure.
So the XFL statement says, currently, so they started saying currently, the XFL will not be playing its regular season games. However, all players will be paid their base pay and benefits for the 2020 regular season. All XFL ticket holders will be issued refunds or credit toward future games. The XFL is committed to playing a full season in 2021 and future years. End of statement.
Says a lot.
Yeah, and not that much. I guess not a lot of details there, and they said currently, so I guess that leaves it open. Maybe that the season will continue, but I just don't see them playing anymore the rest of this year.
Well, I guess best case scenario is the whole thing blows over or just gets dramatically better in a week, 2 weeks tops, where you push it back a week or two. I don't know. That's a good question, because you would think they would want to try to push it back at least a week or two, but I mean, they're just going off the information that the experts are giving them. And, you know, all of March Madness is already canceled, so I guess they're just following suit and be like, well, if we can't play in the next 3 to 4 weeks, then we're done for the season.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think, if it's in a week or two it blows over, I think they could recover and come back and maybe just cancel the 2 games they missed and just make it an 8-game season. I think they'd still be fine. But I think if it goes any longer than that, which by all reports it seems like it will go longer than that, if it goes too long, football is a sport that it's hard to come back like that. There's a lot of – these guys have to be in really good shape to play the game the speed that they want to play it. There's a lot of preparation that goes into playing football games. People just might move on with their lives and move on to other things to get all the players to come back and play too. I think every week that goes by, it's going to be less and less likely that we're going to have any season left at all. There are some rumors that maybe they'll just do the playoffs in 5 weeks from now, but I don't see that happening. So, in the way kind of a lot of the players were reacting on Twitter, it makes me think that it's done, it's over.
Seems that way.
Unfortunately. Yeah, was it Bruno Reagan? One of the linemen from the Battlehawks. He was saying on Twitter that he was going to get a group of guys together. They're going to go down to Tampa Bay and find a playground to play the Vipers in. It's like they just want to play football. They just want to play ball.
Yeah, good for them.
And I was really surprised they didn't do the whole, I don't care, if this whole thing is as bad as it is, why couldn't the players and the staffs, and the TV crew just show up in an empty stadium and play the game, and we can just watch from the comfort of our home? Why was that not an option?
Well, I think that was the way it was going with all sports until today. I think a lot of the assumption was, well, all the seasons will continue. It's just we're going to play to an empty arena. And so it probably just comes to the bottom line, because it costs a lot to keep those lights on and the staff, because you still got to staff some people. So you got to think, if you're not getting any income or any ticket sales, then you're probably at a loss for every single game that's played. That's my assumption. I'm not 100% on that, but that's what it seems like that would be. I mean, it might not be a big deal for XFL since there's only a handful of the games left, but if hockey continues, or baseball hasn't started yet, but if you have 3 games a week and you're operating with no fans, sounds like it's a huge loss.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the the XFL doesn't get any money from their TV deal at this point either. So I guess they make the money off the ticket sales and merch sales and all the other things. And if there's no fans in the seats, they're not making any money off that. So maybe the TV networks might have been pushing for that, but I guess for the league itself, it would have just been a big loss.
Yeah.
Then again, at the same time, in that statement, they're still planning on paying all the players. So they're going to take that loss anyway. They still got their expenses. Everyone on payroll is still going to get paid.
Right.
So make the networks happy and make the fans happy.
Yeah,
I don't
you would
know.
think. But they were one of the last ones. They were, the last one. They were the last league, professional league, to hold
cancel.
out. They were giving us hope. Vince was smelling those ratings, man. So it must be bad. Man, can you imagine that they were the only professional sports on this weekend?
It'd be insane ratings.
It would probably be triple the ratings.
Oh, they considered it.
They even if it was just one game, they should have had one game happen. But nope.
Yeah.
Not happening. I guess the risk of, I don't know if leagues are liable, if an outbreak would happen to either the players and or the fans.
Yeah, there's probably lawyers in the room and just convinced all the execs that it's just the risk is not worth it.
They probably put the best lawyers against just Vince in one room. I want to play. Just think of all the ratings. We'll make millions. Not today, Vince. You lost that fight. Well, he's getting it from both then. So that, and now they're talking about, because WrestleMania is in a couple weeks, and I think as of right now that is still on.
Yeah,
and that's in Tampa Bay. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if that still continues.
Yeah, I think he's gonna, like the XFL, like they're gonna drag it out as long as they can. Like, okay, maybe the situation will improve. Maybe things will change in a few weeks that we can make a more informed decision. And I think they want to keep it going. They really do. And the XFL's in a different situation than MLB or NHL or NBA, because like being a startup, like they don't have that history that MLB has or the history that NBA has, that they'll be fine in the long run. Like they'll come back and people still support them. Like the XFL is just starting up and they are trying to build a fan base and trying to get some momentum going, and this just kills their momentum.
Yeah.
And I really, they say they're going to be back for 2021. I believe it, but there's that little piece of doubt in my mind that, is it going to happen? Like, they only played 5 games. They didn't get establish that first season the way that it's going to throw off all their plans. That it's not a guarantee that they're going to come back. Like, but this might be it.
Totally. But the upside of this is, like, the general consensus on the short season, the season up until now, was it was a success. It was, people had interest, even if they didn't have a team, or just the general buzz was more positive than negative. So you got to think with their season being cut short, it might be more of a positive than, because how many new fans would you pick up in the next 5 weeks? Maybe not that many. And so ratings could have gone down and down and down and down. And so by the end of the season, it could have, I don't know, it could have either stayed the same or it could have dropped tremendously. So especially because they were up against March Madness and then baseball season. So it's almost like they could have been ending on a high, like
so maybe
ratings weren't going up by any means, but just think of what the ratings could have been in the next 5. Like, it could have completely tanked, and then it could have been seen as a failure to the things that are important. Ratings, I guess the ratings are most important. But the unknown, the 5-week unknown, it's almost like a sell point. It's like, well, we did this in 5 weeks, and just think what we'll do next season with all the build, because I don't know who makes the decision if they're going to continue next season or when that will be made. But once there's confirmation there's going to be another season, oh man, it's going to be nothing but hype for months and months and months and months and months. So I pretty much there probably will be a next season. I'm being optimistic.
All right, so maybe it's a blessing in disguise.
Maybe. I mean, it sucks we get cut short, but in terms of that, it might be a little bit of a positive note.
Yeah, I like your optimism, Jerry.
Yeah.
I'm a little more pessimistic. I guess looking from a money standpoint, I guess they were saying this league is going to lose money the first 3 years. Mm-hmm. They were just kind of planning on that. But I think now this first year, if they're cutting the season short, I feel like they're going to lose more. They're going to lose more money than they were planning on that first year.
Right.
And so I think their margin of error, their margin of failure is smaller now. Like next year needs to be even bigger and better than what they were planning on in order to kind of make up for this extra loss.
And you got to think, because they also said that all players are free to go to the NFL. So you got to think how many players are going to be lost between now and. I mean, we might have just lost our quarterback. We might have lost him anyway. I don't know. But yeah, there lies in that. So if the league would have been successful, I don't know how it would have been with extensions. So let's say the Battlehawks won the championship. Would they have signed Tiamu to an extension, or how that would work? And now it's like, well, you're whatever you want to do, kid. You want to go to the NFL? Go to the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't see them making any kind of we're not going to see any news as far as that front for a long time, I don't think.
Yeah.
As far as what's going to happen, who are they signing for 2021? I could see it after a full season and someone wins the championship that maybe at that point they want to lock some guys down right away to get people excited for the next year right away. But at this point, it just ends on this kind of on a whimper on just it's just kind of this weird feeling. It just ends with there's no fanfare. It just ended. We were getting ready to prep for the Vipers game, and now instead of talking about the Vipers game, we're talking about how there's no more XFL. Yeah, I mean it's like it got canceled. Literally, it just got canceled mid-season, just like shows do. It's just instead of looking forward to the next game or previewing the next game, we're wrapping up the short season, and it's bad for our podcast too. And shows, because now we have nothing to talk about. Yeah, I feel like it's just going to be, I guess until we figure out what's going on with this coronavirus thing, we don't know anything. I don't think they're not going to make any decisions. I think that statement, we might not hear from the XFL. They were oddly quiet on Twitter today. XFL has been all promote. Then all of a sudden today they just went silent, except for that one little statement. And I don't see them posting a lot. Well, just think of how many people may have lost their jobs today. Yeah. Or at least the unknown, hey, we don't know where we're going to be at, so you might want to look for another position. Mm-hmm. Because if there's no XFL, or even if there's not, there's definitely, even if the league continues next year, it's probably on hold for at least the next week or two, because like you said, there's the small possibility that the season can continue, or at least something could continue. But yeah. It's it could be unlikely. And so you got to think after those next 2 weeks, there's going to be a lot of people out of jobs, or at least you might want to start looking for another job, because you got to think they're not going to be, like you said, it's probably going to be silent for at least a month. Mm-hmm. That sucks. Yeah, we're not going to hear. Yeah, it really does. Man, I was looking forward to, I guess the LA game was coming up in 2 weeks, and they were selling tickets for the Upper Bowl. That place was going to be full. I was probably expecting 45,000 people going to be in attendance. Yeah. And I think no matter what, even if they in some weird way come back, it might be in some weird way that it's limited attendance or something. So that's just not going to happen no matter what. Even if the XFL does come back in 2 weeks, that game with those 45,000 people, that's just not. The Kroenke Sucks game is not happening. Let's just say if the game is on, like we said, our best case scenario where everything's fine, and not everything's fine, but at least the state of everything, the state of panic, the state of being in a large crowd. Let's just say that completely goes away in a week. Yeah, it's safe. I think people will flock.
I think the first sign of any positive news in this, you're free to. Yeah, we're now.
People go extra hard.
People go extra hard. I mean, especially maybe not after a week, but definitely after a couple weeks to 3 weeks to a month. Man, people are just gonna flock to anything public.
Oh yeah.
Get me out of the house. I mean, I guess technically you can leave the house, but I guess in terms of like having fun socially and seeing sporting events and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess the question is how long.
Right.
How long is that period where we're not going to any event? Because it's not just sports. It's can't go to concerts. You can't the mayor of St. Louis said no events with more than 1,000 people will be permitted.
Yeah,
so that's a lot of things aren't happening.
Yeah, that's it. We're gonna have to be one with nature.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go outside, because that's another thing. I mean, it is springtime, so I mean, it's not like it's the middle of the winter. So you know, just go outside and be one with nature. Chuck the football around with your friends and family.
Yeah. Probably this weekend's supposed to be cold though.
Yeah, it does suck.
Sucks for St. Louis. Know who's the big winner in all this?
The toilet paper companies. I don't know who.
I was gonna say Netflix.
Oh, totally. Yeah, yeah. There's that. At least there's millions of things to watch. You and I don't have Netflix. Though.
Yeah, that's what. What else you can't watch sports. It's gonna be cold, so nobody will go outside. So I guess we'll stay at home and watch Netflix.
It's a bad time to not have a TV.
Yeah. I just sold my TV. That was a bad idea.
I would invest in a new one.
Yeah. I set up a game night with my brother-in-law, so we'll be good. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. Because we were planning on watching the game together. It's like, well, can't watch the Battlehawks game, so let's make a game night out of it.
There you go.
So, I don't know. Curious what all the Battle fans will be doing now that they don't have the Battlehawks to root for.
Yeah, well, the communities have been made online, so maybe I don't know, we'll find something to fulfill that area, unless it just goes desolate like real life communities.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think the most depressing part of the whole thing was right when the announcement out, I was on Twitter watching and just seeing all the player reactions. Like these are guys like, imagine being halfway through the season, like they're really starting to build these bonds together, and it's like, all right, we got another five weeks together. Let's really kind of buckle down. Let's get to the playoffs and try to win a championship. Like, and all these teams, all these players are kind of bonding and looking forward to that. And all of a sudden, also these guys that are on the edge where they didn't quite make it in the NFL, but they've worked so hard their whole life. These are top, very talented guys that just didn't quite make it in the NFL, and this is their second chance to play professional ball. And at this point, for it to be taken away from them like that, like you could feel like how terrible that must feel for them, and what a bummer it is.
Yep. It's
yes.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's, like, friendships forming, and it's like, oh, well, come tomorrow, like, after our exit physicals, like, we're not going to come to work and see each other anymore. That's kind of it, I guess. Going back home, see you later.
Yeah, I mean, like, speaking of that, like, there are other jobs, too. I mean...
Yeah.
The players...
they're getting paid, but...
Well, I just mean, like, job security. Like, they...
Yeah.
You know, if they would have played a whole season and could have... Hey, let's look forward to next year. Let's look into the NFL. Or now it's kind of up in the air for everybody.
Yeah,
as is with everybody, you know. But it's got to suck as a professional athlete, especially ones that I mean, we'll call XFL a major league, but it's still a startup.
Yeah, and I guess for St. Louis, that too is just we've been craving football for 5 years. We didn't have it, and all of a sudden we get it back, and then after 2 home games, it's taken away from us again.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I guess. I don't know. This whole coronavirus thing, man.
I don't know. It's a bad time all around. I mean, it could be much worse. Yeah, it's starting to set in. It's starting to at least seem real with the human condition. More panic in the air. There's more. I mean, you take away people's sports, all the sports, especially this time of year. Like, this is like the mecca for sports this time of year. You got playoff hockey, you got March Madness, now the introduction of the XFL, you got spring training, you got baseball starting up. It's like the perfect time of year for a sports fan, and you take that away from them. Shit. I mean, there's much worse things, but hey, like I said, the positive in this is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Go outside and be one with nature more.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I guess so. Yeah. We go for a hike or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go camping with the family. Use this. Yeah. Maybe use this as an opportunity to connect with things you haven't connected with in a long time. So it'll be a weird social experiment. That what is the world like without sports for a month?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
and
maybe
hopefully
we'll look back at this time and be like, that was an interesting month. Like it was kind of cool that we got a month without sports, but I'm glad it's back now.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah,
when that happens, but I'll be curious how we look at it.
And hopefully it'll be just a month, not too much longer after that.
Yeah,
you kind of saw the blocks were falling by the hour. It seemed like starting shoot yesterday, or maybe even 2 days ago. We just once the talk of the sporting events playing to an empty arena is like, oh, that's gonna be really weird, and then and the players, the NBA started testing positive, like, oh, that's not good. And the NBA's canceled, like, oh god, this is it. And actually started last week with the concerts with Pearl Jam was one of the first ones to postpone their tour. It's like, oh man, once Pearl Jam does it, because the bands and the sports and the teams and like the leagues that keep continuing, you just look like an a-hole if you keep going. How dare you? How could you be so insensitive? Which is true. Yeah. I mean, and it's also, like we said earlier, it's a liability issue too. Because once one of the big boys in your competition or your league or your whatever, your concert environment, once one goes down, man, you might as well consider the rest of them down.
Yeah. We can't be the one league that still plays, and then something were to happen, like they'll have to take the fall for it. Like, oh, you were irresponsible, and yeah, it just wasn't going to happen. I don't know. Me personally, like, I would have kept playing the games, but that's just me speaking. I'm not any kind of expert in medical anything. But the way it was explained to me is the reason that they're canceling all these major events is not that they're trying to prevent the spread of the virus, is that they're trying to prevent a huge spike in cases. Because if there's a huge spike in cases, that's what's it'll overload the healthcare system, and that's where we would have problems. So it's like it's going to take its course. The virus is going to take its course, but if it's going to do that, do it without causing a major spike. That's the way it was explained to me.
Yeah, and that's totally it. That's, I mean, from our viewpoint, it could be something completely different, but that's what it seems like it is. But all you had to do, I have a solution. They should have had one game, open air. Okay. It definitely cut to whatever the minimum. What was it? 1,000 people. 1,000 people in. You have to get your temperature taken at the door, at the gate. Yeah. And you cannot sit like within like a row of each other.
There you go.
Perfect.
Now, I bet these conversations were had in exec meetings.
I bet Vince.
Like, okay, how can we do it?
I bet Vince had every single. That's why it took so long. That's why it took two to three additional hours to announce the XFL. He has probably just come up with every scenario in the book, and all the lawyers.
So what about if we do this? What if we do that?
Listen to this one.
What if?
Follow me here. Yeah.
Well, we only let 10 people in, and we charge them $4,000 each.
We'll see who the real fans are. Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I said, interesting time. Hopefully it doesn't get as serious or worse than it's being made out to be. Yeah. And I don't know. We have XFL to watch in 2021.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully this all blow over and everyone will be fine and we'll get through this. This feels very historic. Like this.
Oh yeah.
I haven't really been following the news very. I try not to follow the news too closely with these kind of things, but I feel like it's just been forced upon us. Like, okay, this is affecting your day-to-day life. Like, you need to pay attention.
Yeah.
And it just feels very historic. Like, we're gonna look back in 2020 was the big coronavirus scare.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like they canceled the NBA and MLB and NHL and XFL were all canceled.
That might have happened before in our lifetime, but I can't remember. And it wasn't all the sports. I think it was just one sport for something or one event. But anyway, yeah, it definitely will be.
Yeah, it was almost like a 9/11 kind of thing where,
yeah,
like I think the next day a lot of events were canceled right away.
Yeah,
like it almost feels like that scale. It's not. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know.
It's hard to feel one way.
Stupid. It's looking back.
It's just hard to feel one way or another. It's hard to feel that.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of the storm right now. It's hard to get your bearings straight.
It's more serious than it was originally imagined, but it could also be not that big of a deal as it's being made out of. No one knows. We'll know in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it could go one or two directions.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Well, anyway,
yeah, I don't know what we do moving forward. I guess
I don't know what we do from here. You might hear us next week. It might be next month. Might be next year. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess as there's news coming out, I guess talk about it. If we got something to talk about, we'll come on here and talk about it.
You can follow our cover band.
There you go.
I guess we're gonna keep playing. We definitely don't have 1,000 people at our gigs. Not yet.
Yeah. No. Well, tell them about it, Jerry.
It's called the Heydays. Play 90s, 2000s, alternative rock, pop, country.
Right. So Jerry, he plays lead guitar and he sings. I play the bass guitar and I sing as well. And we got another buddy who plays drums. My sister, she sings sometimes. Yeah, it's a good time. I think we're playing April 25th at Circa is our next gig.
Hopefully.
Well, yeah. So who knows? That's still over a month away. So it's only 999 of you can show up, though.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what Circa at Manchester and 270. So if you like 90s, 2000 music, you should come on out.
The Heydays Band at the Heydays Band, theheydaysband.com.
Yep. Same guys that brought you the BattleFan podcast. So I guess the Battlehawks end 3-2 on the season. So they had a winning record, and they fulfilled my prediction. I would say they would win every home game, and they would win one away game, and that's exactly what happened.
Look at you.
So there's that. So if you want, I don't know, expert coverage like that in the future, you should stay tuned to the BattleFan podcast.
For sure. And then if not, we'll just have to find some other niche sporting league to follow or to cover.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, all your optimism, I think it's rubbed off of me.
Okay.
XFL's coming back next year, and the Battlehawks will be back and better than ever.
And that dome will be rocking.
We're rocking. I think maybe we'll even more hunger for it because they're going to be. We've been denied a second time of professional football. First with Kroenke and now with the coronavirus. We're going to come back stronger than ever come 2021. Let's end on that note, Jerry. What do you say?
I like it. I like the positivity.
Right, well, for sure. All right. Well, until whenever next time is, Let's go, Battlehawks!